Michigan State is missing some key players from last season, including Miles Bridges and Jaren Jackson, who both entered the draft for the NBA this year and came out successful. Orlando FC isn't the only soccer team playing in the district this weekend, as the Special Olympics Unified team from DC and Florida will go head-to-head here at Audi Field. Minnesota's traveling for the first time in a while after a long stretch of home games. MSU had a tough loss on Friday against Purdue. However, one of the highlights for the Spartans coming out of that matchup was in the 125 weight class, where the true freshman Rayvon Foley took down a ranked senior Luke Welch. That season, Nick Ward thought about testing the waters in the NBA and traveled to several different scouting camps. Ultimately, he came back to East Lansing. Not to mention, they're also tied in every other category except for shots. MSU had lost 8 straight heading into this contest. We start in the 5th inning, Spartans up at the plate 3-0. Chad Ross Kelly sends a bullet into right field, and Justin Antoncic comes in to make it 4-0. Ross Kelly gets all the way to third, which sets up Brian King to add a little insurance for the green and white. He singles into left to bring Ross Kelly all the way around to home. The Spartan Bats get Jake Boss his 300th victory as the MSU skipper. Boss got a little emotional after that game.
Really an honor for me to put the uniform on.
Softball was also in action this past weekend, taking on Indiana. We start in the 4th inning, MSU down 1-0, and Kelsey Carrasco crushes this ball into left field, and it's gone. It just sneaks inside the foul pole line for a solo home run. Later in the inning, with a runner on third, Leah Forrester hits a blooper down the left field line, barely stays fair, and Melanie Bakay scores to put the Spartans up 2-1. Jump ahead to the 5th inning, where Indiana tied it up at 2. Maddie Westmoreland singles into left field and drives home what would be the game-winning run. Nick, you had a pretty great game tonight. I know there's been some differences in the off-season, you going to the draft and all that stuff. What do you think has been the change coming into this year? What was going through your head as you were out on the mat? Big Ten's coming up. How are you planning on preparing for that individually and as a team?
On the banks of the Red Cedar, there's a school and a soccer team that's known to all.
We haven't been to the College Cup in 50 years, so it's a massive day here today at DeMartin, and happy to see the stands packed.
The student section, called the Red Cedar Rowdies, showed up in full force to show their support.
Dude, this place is sold out.
Hopefully we'll make a lot of noise and get really rowdy.
And a lot of noise is what they made. Even in the freezing weather.
Over 1,700 people packing DeMartin Stadium behind me this evening to support the Michigan State Spartans on the road to the Final Four.
And all that support is exactly what the team needed. To get this goal by senior Ryan Sierakowski to secure the win over James Madison.
I'm overcoming emotion and proud.
For head coach Damon Rensing, this has been a long time coming.
Well, I've been here for 25 years as a player, as an assistant, as a coach, head coach, and this has always been the goal.
In fact, 4 out of the last 6 years, the team has made it to the Elite 8, but never advanced.
We knew that these games are won and lost in seconds, and we just knew if we kept pushing, working hard, grinding it out, we would get the result. And lucky enough to be going to Cali.
Sunny California is the next stop for the Green and White as they'll face off against Akron University next Saturday. In East Lansing, Remi Monaghan, Focal Point News.
We were down, obviously, in that 4th quarter.
For 22 years, Luke Pohl has been the head coach for the Powama Westphalia boys basketball team.
He took those 2 steps. I say, that's a travel.
And this year, his team made it all the way to state finals at the Breslin Center.
I said, here we go, Colin. It's just like in front of your mom, but you're going to go to the line and make some free throws.
Got it. The Pirates celebrated their first state championship in school history, but for Pohl, winning is not the only reason he coaches.
Yeah, it always has been a release for me, a time that I can get away from it. You know, the action of having a son with autism.
Luke's middle son, Austin, is 34 and receives 24-hour care from a team of nurses along with Luke and his wife, Janet.
I've talked about how, every little thing Austin is able to accomplish is very difficult. And, our guys, things come quite easy to them, and how fortunate they are not to have to fight and battle and stuff for the little bit of progress that he makes.
And for Janet, she knows that her husband is coaching for the greater good.
I know he's impacted a lot of people in a very positive way. So if it means I'm home and I am staying with Austin, that's okay, because he's doing the job that I think God gave him to do on this earth.
In Westphalia, I'm Remi Monaghan.